Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing extremely well. So today we will be discussing the problem rat in a maze from the SD sheet. But before we move on to the problem, if you are new to our channel, please do consider subscribing because we are approaching that 100k mark. So what does the problem state? The problem states that a rat is placed at 0 0 in a square matrix of order n cross n, and it has to reach the destination n minus 1 n minus 1. That means it has to start from here and it has to reach here. Now you need to figure out all the possible paths that the rat can take to reach from the source, that is 0 comma 0, to the destination, that is n minus 1 comma n minus 1. Now the directions the rat can move is up, down, left or right. So there are 4 directions in which it can move. Now there's an important point. If there is a value 0 at a cell, right, like if the rat is standing here, it cannot move to this position because the value is 0. The value has to be 1. Like it can only move if the value of the moving cell is 1. So in a path, no cell can be visited more than once. Like in a path, you have to only visit a cell once. So the question is very simple. You'll be given n equal to 4 and you'll be given the matrix, and you need to figure out what are the paths. And there is one more thing, you have to print it everything in the sorted order. Otherwise, you will not get the answer. So the question clearly stated that you have to move from the source, that is 0 0, and to the destination. And what are the turns that you can take? You can definitely take an upward turn, you can definitely take a rightward turn, you can definitely take a downward turn, and you can definitely take a leftward turn. So what I will do is, from here, if I take a downward turn, right, then if I again take a downward turn, right, then if I take a rightward turn, correct, then if I take a downward turn, then if I again take a rightward turn, then if I again decide to take a rightward turn, don't you think if you follow this path of DDR, DRR, you will reach your source to destination, right? What if I try another path? The other path will be, you start from here, you take a down, you take a right, you take a down, you take a down, you take a right, and you take a right. So if I follow both of these paths, I actually see that I'm reaching my I'm starting from source and I'm reaching my destination, correct? So the question was very simple. You have to print both of these ways, and the ways should be printed in lexicographical order. Like DDR is lexicographically smaller than the string, so this one should come at first and then the other one. So you have to return the answer in lexicographical order. So before moving on to the next part of the video, let me tell you about Coding Ninjas. Now, Coding Ninjas is one of the largest coding education company, and they have taught around 50k plus students. Now, they offer you courses in programming in different languages like C++, Java, Python. They also have courses for machine learning, Android development, data science, and web dev. The content quality is exceptional as it is made by experts from IIT, Stanford, Amazon, and Facebook. They do offer you 1:1 doubt resolving support, and the average doubt solving time that they take is literally the best in the market. Now, since the courses are really well structured and so many have benefited from it, I guess you should give it a try. And if you feel so, do use the link in the description to avail a discount, which will be added above the one which is already present in the website. So, guys, go and check it out. So how do you solve such kind of problems? Now, if you have seen my entire recursion series, the best way to solve such problems is using recursion. So what we do is, we start at the source and we try every possible path that we can go. I know I can go upwards, downwards, leftwards, and I think rightwards. I can go in all these 4 directions. So why don't I, yes, I repeat, why don't I start at 0 comma 0 with an empty string which says that I haven't moved yet, and I try every possible direction from here. And if I can try this, I think I can definitely reach from the source till the destination if there is a possible path. So since the answer stated that the answer should be in lexicographical order, so it's better that I try the directions in the lexicographical order. Like the lexicographical order of directions are down, left, right, upward. So that whatever answer I get will also follow the lexicographical order. So you are at 0 0. Now you'll be declaring a visited array. What is the use of visited array? I'll be telling you. Because the question stated a single cell can be only once in a path. That is why a visited cell is very important. You will understand when I will show you the recursion tree. So where can you move? You can definitely move to down. You can definitely move to left. You can definitely move to right, and you can definitely move to upward from 0 0. All these four directions are possible. So can you move to down? The question was, can you move to down? Yes, you can move to down, because down states it should only have a 1, and it should not be a part of your path. So why don't you just move to down? Let's move to down. So if I move to down, before moving, this guy 0 0 is a part of your path. So make sure it's marked as visited. Now move to down, that is 1 comma 0, and since you have taken a down turn, please make sure your string has D with you, right? Over here you are at 1 0. What directions can you try at 1 0? Again, similar, I can try all the four directions, that is down, left, right, and upward. I can try all the four directions. So can I go down? Can I go down from 1 0? Yes, definitely, because I'm currently here. And can I go down if I ask? And the answer will be definitely yes, you can definitely go down. So I can say 1 0 is a part of my path. It's a part of my path because I'm standing at 1 0 and I'm going down. So this is why you need to understand why visited is so important. Because from 1 0, you cannot be going upward, because you have came down. You cannot again take an upward journey, because that will you'll keep rotating upward, downward, upward, downward. That's why something like visited is so important, so that you actually know where have you visited in the path, so that you don't go back to it. Otherwise you will end up getting an infinite loop. So you're at 1 0 and you decide to take it downward turns. So 1 0 is marked as visited because that's a part of your path, and you go to 2 comma 0, and that's again a downward turn. So the string will contain DD. At 2 0, where can you go? You can again go to down, you can again go to left, you can definitely go to right, and you can again go to upward. Now can you go down? From here, because you've taken a downward turn, can you go down? Obviously not, because it's a 0. So the downward turn is definitely not possible. Can you go left? Do you have anything on the left? It's out of boundary. So that is also not possible. Can you go right? Can you go right? Yes, you can. So 2 0 is a part of your path, and I decide that I go right, which is 2 comma 1. So I have gone right, that is DDR. My direction is DDR now. So I have gone right now. So I'm just going on the path. Now over here, again I can go down, left, right, up, all the directions. All the directions I can go. Now at 2 1, can you go down? And the answer is yes, you can go down, because we have a 1 over here. So before going, I'm saying 2 1 is a part of my path, and I decide to go downward, that is to 3 1. So I will take a downward dip. So I took a downward dip and I reached here. I took a downward dip, right? So currently I'm at 3 1, and I can again try out a down, a left, a right, and a up. So let's try to have all the directions. Can I go down from 3 1? Can you go down? Obviously not, because that is out of boundary. Can you go left? Obviously not, it is having a 0. Can you go right? Yo, yes, you can go right. So I can say this 3 1 is a part of your path, and you decide to go rightwards, that is 3 comma 2. So DD, RD, R. So since you have gone rightwards, hence you are currently at here. The yellow says I'm currently at here. Okay. Now at 3 2, where can you go? You can definitely go down. You can definitely go left. You can definitely go right. You can definitely go upwards. Can you go down? Not possible, because from 3 2, that will be out of boundary. Can you go left? Now here comes the twist. Can you go left? And you will say that it is not possible, because if I decide to go left, I'll again get back the similar cell 3 1 on my path, and it's not allowed. I cannot visit a cell more than once in my path. So that's why a leftward is not possible. Like, you cannot go back to here. This is where the visited will help you, saying no, it's already marked, you cannot come here. Can you go right? Yes, I can go right. So I decide that I'm going to go right, that is over here, and I mark this 3 2 because this is in my path as visited, and I go to 3 3, and I will contain DD, R, D, R, and R. So this is my path. This is my path. And I see that I have moved to my destination. Yes, I have moved to my destination. And since I have moved to my destination, I can definitely print this as my answer. So this is one of my answers. DDR, DRR. So I've reached. Whenever you reach the destination, it's very important that you get back. So whenever you get back, so make sure 3-2, you're currently at 3-2. So it's no more part of your path. So please make sure it is marked, it is unmarked rather. So you've taken a rightward turn and you reached here. Now you came back. Which turn is left? Then an upward turn is left. So at 3-2, you're currently at here. You're currently at here, right? Can you go upwards? Not possible because it is having a 0. So again you decide to go back. Now you're currently standing at 3-1. So it's no more a part of your path. Make sure you mark it as unvisited. So you're currently standing at 3-1. You went to right? Now can you go upwards? Can you go upwards? I cannot go upwards because that's already visited. I cannot be like this. Can I be like this, like this? No, not possible. So this is also not possible. So I again go back at 2-1. I make sure it is unmarked as visited. I went down. Now which is done? Left. Can I go left? No. Because from here, I'm currently standing here. From here, if I go left, I'll reach here, which is not possible. Can I go right? I'm having a 0. Not possible. Can I go upwards? Yes, you can go upwards. So you decide that you'll go upwards. So this 2-1 is a part of your path now. Make sure it is marked as visited. So you decide that you're going to go upwards. That is to 1-1 and DD, R and a U. So you decided to go upwards. Correct? Now from 1-1, you can definitely go to down, a left, a right and up. So can you go down from 1-1? Can you go down from 1-1? You're currently at 1-1. You came like this. Now can you go here? Not possible. Already visited. Not possible a downward direction. Can you go a leftward? Obviously not because that is already visited. That is already visited. So that's also not possible. Can you go rightward? Can you go to right? No, because it's a 0. Can you go to upward? No, because it's also a 0. So I see at this index 1,1, none of D, none of L, none of R, none of U direction is possible. So what you do is you try to get back. And when you get back, 2-1 is no more a part of your path. So you make sure it is unvisited. And since all the directions have been tried, you now get back. Whenever you get back, you reach 2-0. So please make sure you mark it as unvisited. Right? You are at 2-0. It's no more the part of your path. Now, can you go upwards? Because rightward is done. Can you go upwards? You're currently at here. Right? 2-0. Can you go upwards? Does it make sense? Again, going back to the cell from where you came. Obviously not. So you cannot go upwards. This is also not possible. So you decide that you have to come back to 1-0. Now when you come back to 1-0, yes, when you come back to 1-0, you're currently standing here. So please make sure this is no more part of your path. You have tried out down. Now let's try out. Can I go leftward from 1-0? From 1-0, can you go left? Can you go left? Not possible. So I'll say that's not possible. Can you go right? Yes, I can go right. So 1-0 is a part of your path. Mark it as visited and go to the right. So I decide that why don't I go to right? That is 1,1 with something like D and a right. So at 1-1, I have again couple of 4 directions: down, left, right, up. Can I go down at 1-1? Yes, I can go down. So I will go down. So whenever I go down, this is marked as visited. 1-1 is a part of my path now. And I decide that I am going to go down. That is 2,1. And the path will be DRD. I have decided to go down. So I will be over here. Right? The red line. Now at 2-1, what are the directions? Down, left, right, up. So at 2-1, where can I go? Can I go a down? Can I go a down? Yes, I can. So I will decide I go down. So if I go down, this is marked as visited. So I will go down to here now. That's F of 3-1. And it will be D, R, D, D. Correct? And at 3-1, again I'm going to try down, left, right, up. Can you go down at 3-1 because you're currently at it? No. Can you go left? No. Can you go right? Yes. So I will try to go right. That is 3,2 and D, R, D, D and a right. From 3,2, like if you go to 3,2, this is a part of your path, 3,1 and you go here. Now from here, again try out directions. Down, left, right, up. Can you go down? No. Can you go left? No. Can you go right? Yes. So please make sure it is marked as visited. Go to the right, that is f of 3, 3, and you will ultimately get dr, ddr, and you went right. So this is a destination that you have reached. And since you have reached the destination, I can say this is one of your other answers, dr, ddrr. So this is one of your other answers. And you can definitely see you got first this and after that this. Why? Because D and then the D was tried. That is why. That is why. And after that you got DR because afterwards R was tried. First D was tried. So you got this journey. After that the right journey you got. So you're automatically getting it in lexicographical order. So again you can go back and you can finish it off and you'll see that you actually get only these a couple of directions. So this is how the recursion tree will look like. Now I will talk about the pseudocode. The pseudocode is super duper simple. See, I am currently at a function, correct? Assume this is a recursive function. What am I trying? I am trying first the downward direction. So I will go downward at first. So I'll call the function for downward, right? Then I will try the leftward. So I'll call again the function for leftward. And after that I'll call the rightward. So I'll again call the function for rightward. After that I'll call for upwards. So I'll call for upwards. So basically it automatically makes sure function starts, goes to down, then goes, then comes back, then goes to left, comes back, then goes to right, then comes back, goes to U, then comes back. This is what I have been doing. If you carefully observe, we went to down, we came back, then we went to right, then we came back, and then again we will try up. This is what I'm doing, and that is what my pseudocode will definitely look like. So what about the time complexity? The time complexity is 4 raised to power n into m. Why? Because on every cell I am trying 4 different ways, that is down, left, right, up, every cell. Yeah, you might say on the corner cells I cannot go all directions, but yeah, I'm just approximating the time complexity. It's almost near about 4 to the power n into m. And the space complexity at max will be the auxiliary space, the depth of the recursion tree. What will be the maximum depth of the recursion tree? Can I say, I take a down, I take a down, I take a down, I take a down, I go right, I take a up, I take a up, I take a up, I go right, I take a down, I take a down, I take a down, I take a down, I go right, I go up, I go up, I go up. So isn't it something like this? At maximum, the longest path. And can I say the longest path will be the recursion tree auxiliary space. So that's nothing but, this is how much? N plus n plus n plus n. M into n is the auxiliary space. Yes. M into n is the auxiliary space at the worst case. If you take this path, because the function call will go on till you do not reach the destination, this one. Assume there was one more, so it would have gone on. I hope you understand this auxiliary space concept. So this was about the time complexity and space complexity. Now it's time to understand the code. So as you can see in the C++ code, matrix is given to you. The number of n is given to you, which is the number of rows and columns. So what you do is you declare a vector of strings, which is going to store all the movements, and you declare a n cross n vector so that you can actually check for visit, and after that you check if the source is 1 or not, because if the starting point of the source is actually is it 0, you cannot start your path, right? So it's very important that the 0 0 is 1, and after that you call the recursive function with 0 0, and initially you haven't taken any steps, so the string will not be containing anything, right? So now let's look at the recursive function. So the recursive function has ij, and it has the move string and all the other variables like array, the data structure which is going to store the answer, the number of rows and columns, and the visited one. We have everything. Now I know the base case is whenever you reach the destination. The destination is n-1 and m-1. Whenever you reach there, that's your endpoint, right? So if you have reached there, you know the move. You can store it in your data structure answer. So in this way, you can store all the moves. And once you have stored it, you can return because you have reached the destination. Now you know one thing. We did try downward, left, right, upward. So there will be 4 different recursive function calls because there can be 4 different possible paths that I can take from a particular index. So let's try the downward path. Now whenever I say downward, it means I plus 1 comma j, because downward means I plus 1 comma j. So if it is I plus 1 comma j, I need to check I plus 1, is that inside the boundary? because it's very important whenever I'm going to the next index, it should be inside my boundary. I check it. And it's also very important that I check if that cell has been visited previously or not. It might happen. You would have visited that cell previously. It might happen, right? And it is also very important that you check if that cell is having a 1, because it's not allowed to move to a cell which is having a 0, correct? So what I do is I make sure I mark it as visited, because ij is a part. Yes, ij is definitely a part of your visited, of your path. So I mark it as visited. And right after that I move to I plus 1 comma j. Yes, right after that I move to I plus 1 comma j. And I make sure that I take move plus d. Yes, I make sure I take move plus d because I've taken it downward turn. So I add that d into my string. And while I come back from this recursion, this ij is no more a part of your path. So please make sure you mark it as 0, right? Similarly, you can do for left. Left is I comma j minus 1. Check for boundary, check for visit, check for array, and then go as L. Similarly, you can do for right. Similarly, you can do for upward. But don't you think writing an individual code for every direction is a lot lengthy? And if just in case the question turns out to be the rat can move in 8 directions, just assume you cannot actually write a if statements 8 times. That's a bit weird. So I'm going to teach you a technique where you can actually truncate this 4 if statements into a single for loop. So let's check that out. Now, what are the possible directions? The possible directions that we are taking is down, left, right, up. So instead of writing 4 if statements, can I say that downward is nothing but I plus 1 comma j. This is the downward directions. So the I or the current index will get changed by plus 1, and the j is getting changed by plus 0. Okay, so that's the first addition that you are going to do, right? Now the next one is the left turn. What is the left turn? On the left turn, the I stays same, j becomes minus 1. So can I say I is added with plus 1, plus 0 rather, and j is subtracted with minus 1. Yes, I can say. Now there is another turn right. What if I take a rightward turn? So that's a I comma j plus 1, correct? So can I say I is added with a plus 0, and j is indeed increased by plus 1. Next is the upward turn. Can I say the upward turn will be nothing but I minus 1 comma j plus 0. So can I say I is getting a minus 1 and j is getting a plus 0? Why can't I have a di array, and why can't I have a dj array? Right, because that is the deviation of I and j, and I can simply do I plus di of index and j plus j of index. Instead of writing I was just writing 4if. First I plus 1j, then I comma j minus 1, and I comma j plus 1. Instead of this, I can simply iterate first time for this, then for this, then for this, and then for this. And if I iterate, I will definitely get the movements first down, then left, then right, and then upward. You don't have to write 4 different if statements. Now I'm going to show you this in the code. So in the function call, as you can see, I've been given the matrix and the n similar. Again, these things stay pretty much similar. I've just introduced a di and a dj with the values that we have got, correct? And we're calling the same solve function. And what we are doing is I is equal to 1, same. But instead of writing 4 different ifs, this time I've taken a direction, dlru, whatever we were doing. And I'm doing the next jump that I'm going to make on next of I is I plus di of index and j plus dj of index. That is what I have simply done. And I write next of I is greater than 0, next of j is greater than equal to 0. I just do all the boundary checks at once. And once I've done the boundary check, I check for visited and I check for a to be 1 or not. And if it is, I go and mark it as 1 and I come back and unmark it as 0. It still stays similar. Instead of 4 ifs, I just convert that into a for loop. So in this way, you can actually shorten your code. And this is the way that you should do in your interviews, right? So guys, this will be it for the C++ code. I will be leaving the link of the Java code in the description because it is exactly similar to this. Only instead of a vector, I'm using an array list, and everything remains exactly similar. So I hope you have understood the entire explanation, the entire code. And if you did, please make sure you like this video before you leave. And if you're new to our channel, please do consider subscribing to us, because that is of a great motivation